Now that this week's public testimony has come to an end, what's next in this process? If the House decides to move forward with impeachment, the process will ultimately make its way to the U.S. Senate. Our Samantha-Jo has been tracking that part of the story from Capitol Hill.
The president has hosted at least 40 Republican senators at the White House for policy lunches with the side of impeachment over the last couple of months. Now, Senators Marco Rubio and Rick Scott have been among those lawmakers. We sat down with both of them to get their take on the inquiry.
Committee will come to order.
The House impeachment hearings have been capturing all of the headlines. But we decided to venture across the Capitol to the Senate, where these members of Congress are still waiting in the wings.
Some of our elections, they've been explaining the process to us.
Senators Rick Scott, Marco Rubio, and many others are beginning to prepare for a likely Senate trial, where ultimately they'll serve as jurors.
We have to be here 6 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, listening to all of this.
We asked if the 2 weeks of public testimony in the House has changed their stance when it comes to the impeachment inquiry.
I'm very comfortable. There was no quid pro quo. There's no high crimes and misdemeanors with regard to that call.
Was it a perfect call, though?
Here's the deal. It doesn't matter.
Senator Rubio has slightly a different take.
I've already said early on, I didn't like the way the phone call was made. I didn't agree that it was done. But that's very disagreeing about how someone does their job or even what their goals are is different from arguing that they should be removed from office.
As for the hours of live testimony, both senators admit it's been a challenge to follow.
I can't ask my staff to just hold my schedule open to sit in front of television and watch it. Look, I'm aware there's testimony. I've read some of the headlines in the morning.
Wouldn't you say, though, part of your job is the oversight, and this is a pretty complex issue? I mean, the amount of witnesses, the amount of testimony, hundreds of pages of transcripts. I mean, are you going to be able to catch up in that time?
Well, that's what the trial is going to be about, right? And so that's why we have it. And as far as oversight is concerned, yeah, potentially there's an oversight role to play over the State Department and the conduct of foreign policy.
If the House does decide to move forward with impeachment, it's unclear what the timeline for that Senate trial will be. In Washington, Samantha-Jo, Spectrum News.